stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. To those guests who've just joined us, welcome. Our next stop is the Magic Kingdom. For those of you standing, please hold on to the handrails throughout our journey and stay clear of the door. Stay clear of the door. Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching our station at the entrance to Main Street, USA.
Welcome aboard the Monday Morning Monorail podcast. This is Justin Monorail, and this is episode number 255 of the Monday Morning Monorail podcast. Today's Monday, June the 9th, 2025. 6-9 if you're nasty. It is another wonderful Monday morning, and we are happy to be back here with you. Despite some things that may have happened over the weekend, and we'll get to those things, but all endings lead to new beginnings, and that's something that I feel like we can all focus on in this, midway point of the year. So let's bring in the co-host before we get to the Disney news and the GEO-82 reviews. Hint, hint, future content. And I will start with the Stephers. Stephers, welcome to the show. How you doing? I don't know.
I didn't know where you were going with that.
I didn't either.
Was like, oh, are you gonna have the words? So were there words that were coming?
No
Hi,
words.
hello, it's me. Yeah, it's me. And that is what Landon likes to call a tease, and like what he likes to call whatever. He says like a whole thing. That's tease, period.
Stephers, how did you feel about the fact that almost immediately after we recorded last week?
Oh, let's not talk about it. I mean, we're going to talk about it later.
I know.
But like, unbelievable. Let me tell you, I saw that. I sent it to you and I was like, this would happen.
Yeah. It was maybe 3 hours after we were done recording, and there was an announcement for Halloween Horror Nights. So yes, if you listen back, we may now sound like idiots, but you know what? We pretty much always sound like idiots.
Hey, we're cute idiots, at least.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we bring looks to the party, but not much else. And let's bring in the most handsome and debonair monorail co-host of them all. It's Landon the Doz Doane. Landon, welcome back to the monorail.
Hi, everybody, coming in from the isolation station of it's me, it's the DOZ, Landon the Doz Doane, and it's a Monday morning. You know what that means. And guys, I knew about the Halloween Horror Night announcement last week. You should have just asked me.
Yeah, well, I know. Well, where were you? You were in Chat Town.
Exactly. I was in the Noog, as I found out they call. No, actually, nobody calls it the
That
Noog.
sounds like you're trying to say booger, like.
Oh, I got a Noog. Anybody got a tissue? I got a Noog.
Everybody stand back. I got to clear my nose to get the Noogs out.
Yeah, anyway, I'm sorry if that's actually what people call it, and I just offended a whole bunch of people.
No, it's fine. Chattanooga was a very underwhelming time. I went to go see Nate Bargatze. Nate Bargatze, hilarious. I believe his name was Graham K. Funny dude, one of his openers. The other three people that were attached, some of the most unfunny, quote unquote, stand-up comedians I have ever suffered through. But Nate Bargatze himself was hilarious.
Yeah.
So,
he's a Tennessee guy.
He is. Middle Tennessee, yeah.
Sadly, he's a Vanderbilt fan, I think.
I know, gross.
We won't hold that against him, though. But yeah, I like Nate Bargatze. He's very, very good.
Mm-hmm,
You're seeing some killer comedians this year.
It has been a good year for me in stand-up. Earlier this year, I went and saw Taylor Tomlinson in Chicago. Trey Crowder came through Knoxville, saw him, and then I saw Nate last weekend. So that was it's been a good year for the ha-has for yours truly.
Well, how would you rank those three in terms of your enjoyment and their performance, in your opinion?
I would still have to put Taylor Tomlinson one, because also the venue I saw her in Chicago was just phenomenal. Then I would go Nate 2, and then Trey Crowder 3. But I mean, all three were top notch. Yeah. If you get a chance to catch any of them on tour, highly recommend.
I'm a stand-up nerd. Do you like stand-up comedy, Stephers?
I've never seen. I've seen. Oh. Yeah. Sorry, I had to think back to my youth. So sorry, my brain. I was like loading symbol on my face.
It really
loading.
was. I was like, are we going to have to reboot Stephers?
Network connection lost.
I've never actually really seen much. Like, that wasn't like a thing for me.
That makes sense, because I feel like when Landon and I were growing up, there was a stand-up comedy kind of boom.
There really was.
Before there was like a dead period, but there was a lot of nostalgia, because like I remember kind of being raised on like Eddie Murphy Brawl and like Richard Pryor shows and like all the like, so like that for me was very formative, and maybe some comedians who have since been canceled that I won't bring up, but
yeah, I really just grew up on like Jeff Dunham and like Gabriel Iglesias. That was when they were like on the up.
Yeah.
So that was I saw Jeff Dunham in part like live. Other than that, I don't like watch specials or like do really anything. The only things I like dip my toe in is like TikToks if they come up and it's like a topic I think is, you know, probably relatable. I'm like, oh, let me watch this stupid thing and get called out, and then here we are.
You know, the only thing about TikTok and stand-up comedy, so frequently what I end up seeing is just like crowd work, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's fine. That's like, I guess that's a whole genre of stand-up comedy, but like, it doesn't have the same effect watching crowd work on TikTok. You know, it's a little bit different, but yeah, I'm a big stand-up fan, and feeling a lot of FOMO with all these shows Landon's got to say. I love Taylor Tomlinson, so she was so funny, so funny. Yeah. But, you know, part of stand-up comedy, the thing I like about the most is the connection with the fans. And it feels like it's an interaction, even though you are supposed to stay quiet in the crowd. Very similar to this podcast, because I love connecting with the fans and they don't get to talk back to us. That's great. So with that being said, we've got a lot to get to today. I do want to just recognize we're recording on June 9th, which means officially Muppet Vision has closed. Yeah, yesterday, the 7th was, and we're recording on Sunday the 8th. The 7th was the last day guests could see Muppet Vision. All the feels. I was, speaking of FOMO, I was feeling some FOMO watching all the fans of the Muppets show up in droves for Muppet Vision's curtain call. It looked like quite a moment. Tom and Michelle from Hyperion Adventures podcast were there. I didn't realize that if you went early that you could get a wristband so you could be part of the last show, which Tom and Michelle got to do, which is very cool. So farewell, so long, hopefully not goodbye to the Muppets in the parks. I know we're getting them in Rock and Roller Coaster, and we'll get to that later, but it's tough. It's tough. Have we all processed the feelings about Muppet Vision leaving? I know Stephers doesn't care.
Yeah. Stephers is cold and heartless about this. She doesn't care.
I need y'all to calm down. Just because I'm not a Muppet fan, I understand the impact of the Muppet. Oh, all right, I'm getting canceled. I'm just gonna.
I knew it was coming, but yesterday when it was like it's here, that's when it really hit me, and it's like I legitimately got bummed out about it. It's like I was texting with a smoking hot fiance, and it's like we were legitimately sad knowing that the next time we're down in Hollywood Studios, we won't be able to go see Muppet Vision 3D, because I mean, like, yeah, it's like I'm a Muppet fan, I'll admit that, but that was something we always looked forward to going and experiencing, was Muppet Vision 3D, and that's not even taking into account the history of that attraction, knowing that was Jim Henson's last Muppet project that he worked on before his untimely passing. And knowing that the day finally arrived and passed, and they're not going to get things started, to use a term from the Muppet Show, ever again in that iteration of Muppet Vision 3D, it's just a punch in the gut. And yeah, we'll talk about it. We're going to get the Muppets in Rock and Roller Coaster, but we talked about it when they made the announcement. I don't think it's going to be the same. It's obviously not going to be the same, but I don't think it's going to have the same impact of the Muppets being in Hollywood Studios on a roller coaster.
Yeah, it's different. It's different. But yeah, I had the same kind of feeling yesterday, like watching the videos people were posting. And one thing that was nice was that my whole social media feed on Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, it was all just tributes to the Muppets, which was really nice. Yes. But I was like, where have y'all been the last 8 years while we've been saying hashtag save the Muppets?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You know?
Yeah, if y'all had showed up, maybe we wouldn't be here.
Exactly. But anyway, and speaking of things we lost way too soon, I found out while I was at Epcot on Friday that the Forces of Nature show has officially ended, like kind of out of the blue at Epcot. So I know this. Yeah, it was a surprise. It kind of ended when Flower and Garden ended, but I kind of felt like that was going to stick around for a while. You know, it had been extended a couple of times, and it didn't take up a lot of space. People seemed to enjoy it, so that was kind of a shock to me.
I think it's too hot now.
They did it all last summer, did they not? It's been around a while.
Has it already been like a whole? I was like, wait, did it? Was it already?
I think it's been a year.
Well, alrighty then. I'm going to resend.
Landon, did you ever get to see that show live?
No, I never got to experience it live, and the fact that they ended it without any or little to no fanfare is kind of surprising. Yeah. Just kind of like, oh, by the way, that's done.
Yeah, so, it's gone.
Like, wow. Okay, and you said it when you talked about it. It's like that was a fun, unique experience in Epcot, and it was keep Epcot weird. It's like that was definitely one of the banner experiences of keeping Epcot weird, that surprises me.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't see any reason other than just, of course, they're paying a third party to put on that show, and maybe they're like, hey, this is an expense that we can cut real easily just, in that show. But at the same time, I think a lot of people enjoyed it. It was something to do. That spot where it was set up in World Celebration Garden is sort of like a odd, empty, negative space. So I hope they figure out something else to put there, because other than just like big metal, rusty looking trees in that area, I don't know what else, what they'll do with it, but we'll find out. But
we love our big metal rusty trees.
We do.
That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. But, one thing we can do to like drown our sorrows and help us deal with emotions is have cocktails. And so at least GEO-82 is open now. And I did get to go on Friday and experience GEO-82 with Cocktail Bob and his wife, Christina. The throuple still lives. So I'll talk about that at the end of the show. But before we get to that, we've got some Walt Disney World news. So it's time to dive in. That's right, dreamers. We're back with the news from Walt Disney World. All the headlines, we've gathered them for you so you don't have to. And if you'd like to follow along, as always, you can go to dismornings.com. That's DISMORNINGS.com. dismornings.com. Lane is checking my math here. I think I got it right. It's always
you got it close enough. So
it's always dangerous to try to spell something on a podcast, but
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So this one, it's a little tip of the cap to our friend Nate, because Nate, famously part of the DVC duo, he and his wife Serena used to they did a podcast, they had a blog, and had their own social media, but now he's part of our Diz Mornings team. But he's a big DVC owner, a big fan of DVC, and this first headline, this is dedicated to you, Nate. So according to updated terms and conditions, the new Disney Vacation Club policy aims to limit rentals to quote unquote personal use and crack down on commercial renting. Now, what this means is basically if you are a DVC owner, Disney is going to make you sort of check a box whenever you make a reservation that says, yes, this reservation is for personal use, family or friends. It's not, I'm not selling these points, essentially, is what you're signing off on. What kind of sucks about this, I'll just put it bluntly, is that I have actually taken advantage of renting DVC points in the past. And if you, the lovely listener out there, has ever done this yourself, you know you can end up staying at some of the deluxe resorts for a much reduced price if you go that route. Because yes, you'll probably stay in like a DVC studio. I mean, you have access, depending on how many points you rent, you can get, multi-room suites or whatever you want to get in the DVC towers. But, you don't get access to like the DVC areas, like the lounges or whatever they may be. But you get to use that room, and it's usually at sort of a fraction of the cost of whatever the rack rate for, say, the Animal Kingdom Lodge is being sold during the period of time that you stay there. So, I guess what's happening is Disney feels like this is being abused. I didn't even think about the fact that people have started sort of their own businesses of buying up contracts and then just renting those points out for like upsell, and using that as like a method of secondary income. Of course, that's not the intent of DVC. That's not what Disney wants. And And if you have ever rented points and you've stayed in DVC towers or wherever, you know that they sort of say they take this approach of welcome home, you're part of the family, because they do intend for the people that are staying there to be DVC members. So on one hand, I get it. You know, if you're a DVC member, you would like to be able to have the ability to book whenever there's availability. And if, you know, someone chooses to not stay in a particular month at a particular resort, but they rent their points, whoever rents those points could be taking opportunities for actual DVC members to stay in that room. So I get not wanting to make it like a business for people, but also this was kind of nice for people who did want to stay and more, you know, maybe upgrade their stay from a moderate to a deluxe, but couldn't necessarily afford the premium. This was I mean, like I said, I did it before, and I didn't even really think about the fact that we may be doing something that was outside of the policy. I didn't know. So, yeah, interesting stuff. I think from one hand, like I said, for DVC owners who use their points the way they're supposed to, this is a good thing. For everybody else, it kind of not necessarily a good thing. My personal thoughts.
Yeah, I see this from both sides of the coin, but as somebody who is not a DVC member, this pretty much, I mean, means I will never experience a DVC level room because I looked into buying or renting DVC points. I never pulled the trigger, but I will admit I did at one point look into buying DVC points so I could experience a DVC room. Never did, but I looked into it, and with this new implementation of a policy, I think this pretty much guarantees, unless I just fall into a financial windfall and decide to get stupid with my money, I never will experience the DVC side of things.
I was going to say, I'm just saying, if you save some dollary dues from your comedy tours and you use them for your DVC expenses, it could work. I'm just saying.
I think I would have to save a lot of money on my comedy tour.
No,
When I first started going down to Orlando more frequently, me and the Lotus looked into DVC, and that is quite the price tag the Disney Vacations Club calls for.
Yeah. It makes me wonder how they feel about people reselling their contracts, because that's something that happens too. Mm-hmm. Like, people buy their contracts and then they decide they don't necessarily want to keep up with them, so they sell them off. And that's a way you can kind of become a DVC owner without paying. Like, it is a bit of a discount. You end up, you can look and see how many points you get at what price, and it probably will be less than if you bought it from Disney. But I do know that you don't get the official DVC membership card if you buy your DVC points from a third party. So you can't take advantage of the perks other than just renting, using the points and renting the rooms. But
I didn't even realize that was a possibility.
Yeah, you can do it. So anyway, there's like whole sectors. People have built businesses around renting DVC points. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens there. But we'll keep our eyes peeled, and unfortunately, that just sort of means if you are a person who just legitimately wanted to rent points for a little bit of a discount, but you were using it, I think, honestly, then not an option for you anymore. So anyways, moving
what
on,
is an
Stephers.
option? I don't know. I was really trying there. I was waiting for the setup, and the setup.
I didn't have one.
Yeah, it's all good. We're gonna move on up to the magics of the kingdoms. Mm-hmm. We have more information about the Cars themed expansion coming to Magic Kingdom. It's going to be Piston Peak National Park. And here is the little blurb that Disney gave us. Imagine an awe-inspiring wilderness filled with towering trees, snow-capped mountains in Florida, breathtaking waterfalls, roaring rivers, and impressive geysers. While fictional, Piston Peak is inspired by the Rocky Mountain area and the history and iconic sites of the American frontier and its national parks. Well, at least they're staying on theme. Inside Piston Peak, guests will be able to see and explore the visitor Lodge, Ranger HQ, trails, and more, all set within the Disney and Pixar Cars universe. To make sure these buildings fit naturally within the surrounding majestic landscapes, Imagineers are using a style of architecture called parkitecture, which was developed by the National Park Service to create structures that harmonize with the natural environment.
Yeah.
Parkitecture.
Parkitecture.
You know
Yeah.
what?
Jay, how do we feel about parkitecture?
I like it.
You know,
all right.
it's the map graphic is real cute. Real
cute.
cute. It's giving park ranger, it's giving tow mater, but like park ranger vibes, but like also maybe his grandpa. Like, I don't know. Anyway, as work on the Cars themed expansion revs into high gear, I see what you did there, Disney. The Rivers of America, Tom Sawyer Island, and the Liberty Square Riverboat will be closed beginning July 7th. So mark your calendars.
Less than a month.
Yeah, listen, we're losing a lot here, but we're gaining other stuff. So here we are. To make way for the expansion, the Walt Disney World Railroad will also be operating under a modified route that excludes Frontierland Station beginning July 7th. The attraction will operate as a shuttle between Main Street Station and Fantasyland Station only.
So interesting.
Man, the railroad just can't catch a break.
No.
I saw
Let's reopen.
I saw someone make the comparison that this is now going to be like the Hogwarts Express because it's just going to be going backwards and forwards, between the two stations. But it'll be much stranger because you're going to, like, if you're observing from, somewhere in the Magic Kingdom, you see the train go by backwards. That's going to be really odd to see. But at least it'll still be running. You're still going to get to hear the old toot toot from the engine. So that's good. But yeah, interesting stuff. Looking at the picture, one of the things I think is nice is I actually, guys, I don't have to tell you, I'm a nerd. Okay. So we know you host a Disney podcast. You don't have to tell us. I mean, that's one piece of evidence among many. But I took this rendering that they gave us of Piston Peak, and they actually give you a compass rose to tell you like what's north, what's south, east, west. I lined it up with Google Maps because I wanted to sort of get an idea of what we're looking at here.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Continue.
So, because, initially, I think when we saw like earlier renderings, it looked like there was going to be a walkway sort of all the way around. And it was hard to visualize, like, is there going to be any water left at all? In the picture we have here, you can actually see that a little bit of the Rivers of America still remains. And I think in the bottom left corner of this picture, I know this is an audio format, but we're looking at a picture. In the bottom left corner, that little building that's on the side of the river, I think is the current boat dock for the riverboat. So then you take that little stretch of water all the way up, and then at the top there would be about where Pecos Bill is on the left. So a lot of water is still going to be there, which is good. That's nice. And they're kind of incorporating the new landscape. It looks like there's a waterfall that'll actually go into the river.
It's called parkitecture, Justin.
Well, no,
we just discussed
The
this.
parkitecture is the buildings, like the lodge, the Ranger HQ. That's the parkitecture.
What if parkitecture was the friends we made along the way?
But it's harmonizing with the natural Okay, hear me out though. If they're gonna keep the water and they're not gonna do the whole boat shenanigans, what if they did like a what's it called? Like a swan boat, like the paddle boats, like the. Come on, someone, anyone?
Yeah, they're paddle boats. Is what you're talking about.
Paddle boats.
There used to be back early in the M3-4D days. We found out that there used to be canoes in the Rivers of America where
I'm just saying
guests could get in there and actually paddle.
Hear me out. You get rid of Speedway. You don't have to get rid of Speedway. I'm just, saying it for the love.
Stephers just wants to get rid of Speedway.
I actually really like the Speedway.
Yeah.
But you take that energy and you do canoes in the Rivers of America.
Yeah. Or motorboats.
Period.
You motorboat son of
I'm staying away from that one. Anyway.
You think we'll get some animatronic beavers?
I want cute little animals. Please, Disney, please. Not real ones, because that's not the place. But like cute little fake ones would be so cute. And I can name it Philip, and we could be besties.
I was thinking about this, Stephers, while you were reading the Disney blurb, and I was like, it will be very cute if they incorporate some characters in here like Chip and Dale, because I could see them in park ranger outfits. It's almost like Chip and Dale.
Have new costumes and a new photo. Okay, we're saying it here. They're going to have a new photo opportunity, and it'll be what you just said. But spoiler, on special party days, they will have them, like all of them, all of the fab.
The fat
Justice
fab.
No,
That's a new
fat.
term.
Do what?
Oh, I hate it here. All right, I'm just gonna.
Also, it's going to be really hard for me to not call this Pistol Pete.
Pistol Pete. Welcome to Pistol Pete.
Yeah. They're
It's
reopening
better than
the
what I
NBA
was calling it.
experience. Yeah.
I also want to point out something that I think is kind of cool here, because we're basically getting a Cars Land East, even though it's a little bit smaller of a footprint. But they're not doing Radiator Springs. We're getting like a mountain foresty version of Cars Land. And Radiator Springs is more like Western Desert Canyon-y. So that's kind of, I like that contrast.
I'm glad that they're trying to like make it make sense. You know what I mean? Like I love Radiator Springs. It would not work. It would not work. Also, it gives a reason to go to both coasts because you obviously have the different things. So I like that.
Me too.
Good on you, Disney.
Right now, I'm a fan. I mean, they still aren't really committing to, like, we don't know what the family ride in Cars Land is going to look like. And they're still, I feel like they're moving the goalpost a little bit about this off-road rally experience that you're going to be able to do. Because I think initially we all thought that was going to be a trackless ride. Now we're like, no, that's not a trackless ride. We never said that was going to be a trackless ride. But, you know, we'll see how it all turns out. I just hope, because right now it looks very good. And I'm excited to see it. I'm going to be very positive about it. I like the fact they say there's going to be trails, because that's a little Tom Sawyer Island-y feeling. Like maybe you're going to get to explore a little bit. But yeah, I'm positive. I'm going at this with a positive attitude, and I feel like it's going to be good.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Cars isn't my favorite IP in the Disney Pixar lineup, but this could be cool. Yeah. This could be cool.
Yeah, hoping so. Fingers crossed.
You know what else could be cool?
What's that, Stephers?
A Muppets takeover on Rock and Roller Coaster.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because, hi-ho, everyone. The Muppets are packing up and moving to Sunset Boulevard for their first ever roller coaster. Have you guys heard about this? Grab your guitar or maybe a banjo, because Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets speeds into Disney's Hollywood studio next year in 2026. This was according to a video dropped by Kermit the Frog himself. Though if you are a fan of Aerosmith, you can keep rocking out to their tunes in a super stretch limbo through the rest of this year, 2025. We do not have an exact closure and reopening date as of this time. We knew it was coming. We talked about it when we were talking about the closure of Muppet Vision 3D. They said the Muppets were moving into Rock and Roller Coaster to take the spot of Aerosmith, but we got a video that dropped on the 7th, I believe, of Kermit saying that the Muppets were moving in officially to Rock and Roller Coaster, and they dropped 2026. I was surprised it's going to be that quick of a turnaround, and also the fact that it's going to be that quick of a turnaround tells me this is going to be just a straight up reskin. They're just going to take any reference of Aerosmith out, and they're going to paste in the Muppets. So I would be stunned if they change the track of the coaster itself. This is going to be just
they
a
just
Muppet
did.
reskin.
They just did maintenance on it not too long ago.
Yeah. But they're not. You're right.
Out,
You're right. It's not going to be a new track.
No.
And based on like the current scenery, like when you're riding Rock and Roller Coaster, it's all just like big, just like wooden
cardboard,
nondescript. Yeah. It's
know.
like signs of like exit signs on the interstate.
Yeah, and then
like
maybe I'm crossing my rides, but there's like one scene where there's like a truck, but it's a digital screen, so all they have to do is change that, right? Is there not a truck? Is there not a screen on the truck?
Honey, that's Test Track.
Is it?
I think you're talking about Test Track, yeah.
But is there not like is it just construction? It might just be construction.
I think it is just I mean, like if I'm remembering correctly, Rock and Roller Coaster is just you're on the interstate and you're racing across LA.
I thought you were swerving away from a truck. Yeah, but I thought you were swerving away from a truck.
Listen, it's funny.
I haven't been on it in so long.
Memories are flawed. I feel
Anyway.
like I can tell you there's no digital screen for sure.
Okay, well then it really is super simple to just reskin it. Then I was gonna say you would just have to replace that visual element, but even then, that's not a huge lift. That's really all I was trying to get at. But you guys just made it even easier to do it. So
the biggest effort is they're gonna have to have a new pre-show recording, and then they'll just have to change
Gussy up the queue,
and then they'll just have to change the onboard soundtrack. That's
you know, it would be so funny. I mean, I wouldn't put it. Let me not put that in the universe. But if they take all the merch for Rock and Roller Coaster, just put an X over Aerosmith and put featuring the Muppets or literally like that, and like change, like put a Muppet on it. But like other than that, that's the merch. That would be so funny.
Honestly, I would buy that.
Honestly, Stephers, you're probably not going to be that far off because
I know.
I imagine that the merch is going to pretty much be the same, just with different stickers on them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Glad we're all on the same page.
I'm thinking this is just going to be like, really, it's just like if you could like think about just digitally removing Aerosmith from each portion of that and just putting in Muppets characters. I think that's pretty much what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like you're in the studio with Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. And then, you know,
and then Kermit and Fozzie and Gonzo and Piggy will pop up throughout the queue and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
Dr. Teeth is going to step up and go, wait a minute. I love that idea.
And then we're going to get in a stretch limo.
Yeah.
A super stretch limo.
Super stretch. I'm excited. I mean, I know that it's not ideal because, again, not everybody can or will ride this ride, so it's kind of limiting who can get exposed to the Muppets. But it's something we asked for. Again, it's a monkey paw situation. We asked for this. We didn't want them to take away Muppets Courtyard, but here we are. So
and honestly, like if you're a Muppet fan, I think the most enjoyment you're going to get is going through the queue. Maybe getting on the attraction itself might be the lesser part of the Muppet experience. Because I mean, like, if you're an Aerosmith fan, the draw is the queue and pre-show itself. Because once you're on the coaster itself, I mean, outside of the countdown and the launch and the soundtrack, I mean, it's like, okay, this is just a fast roller coaster that's indoors.
Yeah. They need to give it the Guardians treatment and randomize like the song that you get on the ride. I don't know if they'll just take like an existing, maybe, I don't know if they've told us this or not and I've forgotten, but are they going to take like existing Muppet songs, or is it going to be rock and roll songs done by the Muppets? Because I don't think
they've given any specific information,
Yeah.
but I'm sure someone that is listening to this will fact check us. So don't worry.
I feel like they've said it's going to be the Muppets, quote, working with the hottest bands of
see, that's what I was thinking.
Of music or something like that. And that is very non-committal to anything.
Yeah.
So it could be like Muppet music, or it could be, I mean, in the Muppet movie that came out a few years ago, I mean, they covered Built This City on Rock and Roll. So, I mean, it is within the Muppets' bag of tricks to just cover existing songs.
Okay.
Meow.
Go for
What
it.
if they? What if they?
I feel like we might be saying the same thing.
No. You won't. We won't.
Okay.
They're going to do Hot to Go.
No, they're gonna. Well, I was thinking way back. I was thinking the boys are back in town, and it would just be. That would be anyway.
Wow, Stephers, I went Chapel Roan too because I was gonna say Pink Pony Club sung by Piggy.
I mean, yeah, but I was going old school because I was kind of keeping the theme.
But Hot to Go would be perfect. Actually.
Are we really doing? I don't know. I actually, hot take, I don't know if I want modern music in this ride.
And I honestly don't know if they will use modern music, because I feel like them moving away from Aerosmith is a choice that they don't want to associate themselves with an existing band because of what if like, thankfully nothing came out about Aerosmith, but I mean, back in the day before they got clean, Aerosmith was notorious partiers.
Yeah.
And what if something came out that's like, okay, we can no longer be associated with this band that has a full-blown attraction in one of our theme parks by going with the Muppets? And if the Muppets aren't associated with a real-life act that can't, be quote-unquote canceled, I think that's a safe move on Disney's part.
Yes, but if you're doing cover versions, at least you're sort of isolating or insulating yourself a little bit against that. You don't necessarily have to have those artists be part of those songs. And then if they rotate it, then if something happened with one of those, they're like, oh, get rid of that song. We can just.
That's true. Yeah.
You know. So yes, I think the answer is Hot to Go, Landon. I think you nailed it in one. So
thank you. I appreciate that. Once again, Landon was right.
I was going to ask, I think this is a good question for the listeners. What song would you like the Muppets to cover and be featured on the new Rock and Roller Coaster? Tell us the song and who is going to sing it out of the Muppets crew. That's what I want to know. That's our audience question of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the Stephers.
All right. So this next
Thanks.
article, I don't have another. This is another lack of segue situation, but this one is. I put it in here more so because I feel like I've got to admit I was wrong. Yes, listeners, occasionally I am wrong, and this is another one of those times because when the Astro Orbiter suddenly disappeared from the top of Rocket Tower Plaza in the Magic Kingdom, I felt like that the reason that happened was probably they were going to be sterilizing it, for lack of a better term, and basically retheming it to fit Tomorrowland a little better. Because one of the things that's been happening to Tomorrowland for years has been, I'm just going to say, Disney taking away the whimsy of Tomorrowland and kind of making it into the Apple version of what Tomorrowland might look like. Very clean, very sterile, white and silver and just, smooth surfaces. And I thought we were going to get something like that when Astro Orbiter came back. But as of this recording, Astro Orbiter has fully been rebuilt on top of Rocket Tower Plaza, and the vibrant planets have returned. Now, they haven't started testing the ride just yet, so I'm not sure about like the actual movement of the planets or how all that's going to work. But at least for now, it looks like it was really just like kind of cleaning it up, maybe even adding some additional pops of paint, because it does look, the picture we've got here in the notes, it looks like it's brand new, fresh and clean and shiny, and that's good. I'm happy to be wrong, because I don't like them taking away, some of the character of Tomorrowland as they have with some other things. So we'll see how it turns out. But for now, it looks like it's in pretty good shape. Thanks, Disney, for not ruining something else. Just kidding. I'm so mad.
Yeah, but when are they going to overhaul Tomorrowland? And you know what?
That's what they've been doing for years.
Really? Because
Yes.
what are they doing with Stitch? What are they doing with
Oh, well,
They're going to turn it into a Genius Bar, Stephers.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. We need to do an update. Let me just check really quick, because I don't know what the status of Stitch is.
I mean, he does
Still
have the number one
closed.
movie in America right now. So, I mean,
correct?
No, I thought maybe. Oh, no. Unfortunately, Stitch is still closed.
dang it. I mean, it'd be the perfect time to bring it back.
Yeah, this is like a PR person's hello. This is great primetime marketing, y'all. Primetime
Slam
marketing.
dunk.
Fail.
Slam dunk.
Well, I digress. You know who is slit? Never mind. That's
Stephers,
that wasn't. Yeah,
we're bringing it full circle. I set this up in the beginning of the show, and
you sure did, bud.
right after we finished recording last week, we got our first Halloween Horror Nights announcement.
It's so wild.
And now we've gotten two. So let's talk about it. Let's bring people up to speed, because yes, this is a
do it.
Disney podcast, but also
but
we love us some Halloween Horror Nights. Let's
we
be honest.
do. We're already
this
planning
we?
it. Landon, it's fine. Pretend.
No,
Pretend. Two out of three. It's a majority rules, bud. Bad boys for life. All right. So literally after we finished recording, we had speculation, and both of these things we've mentioned before, which is even funnier, but I think any HHN fan knows that these were coming. So Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't know why I have trouble saying that every single time in any capacity.
At least you didn't say Five Guys at Freddy's.
Well, I was going to say Friday Nights at Freddy's, which is also not right.
I love these alt versions.
Right, yeah.
So,
Fortnite at Freddy's. How about that? Can we
No.
do
Night Court at Freddy's? Yeah.
No. This isn't going to be a house, which I think a lot of people wanted. Universal is teasing this as a whole new way to this year's Universal's whatever.
Well,
They're coming in a whole new way. Shush. Words are hard. Words are so hard. Yeah, so Five Nights at Freddy's is coming to Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh, she struggled through that one. You felt it. It was great.
It's great. After this announcement came out, I messaged Justin and I was like, well, maybe it's the hotel experience is going to be, because usually they do like the monsters or what did they do? I mean,
they
it's
did icons.
or Stranger Things and then the icons. I think it might be some sort of guest experience at the hotels. That's my inkling, not confirmed. Don't at me when I'm wrong.
Inkling? What are we talking about now? What is that called? Splatoon? You talking about Splatoon?
Well, I'm good at Splatoon.
You heard it. Splatoon house confirmed.
I think there's a good chance. So yes, what they've done over the last several years, I don't know how long they've been doing this, but over at Cabana Bay, they do almost like a walkthrough experience where you can go
and they
in.
expanded that too last year.
Yeah, and it's not like walking through a haunted house. It's usually like displays and you it's a little bit interactive, but it's not really scary. It's not a scary situation. They're usually going to be photo ops in there. So yeah, maybe they do that with Five Nights at Freddy's. The other thing they might do. Tell me what you think the possibility of this is. What if they set up a dining experience? I don't know where they could do it.
That's my problem is where, now that we don't have Monsters Cafe, RIP, pour one out to our homie.
Yeah.
Like you can't turn Minions Cafe. You can't, like, what are we doing? Or alternatively, they're not doing a tribute store, a seasonal tribute store. What if they... I don't know. What if they tweak something in a tribute store location and make that a thing?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Could be. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Who knows what a whole new way means, but I can't wait for Flava Flav at Freddy's coming this year to Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights.
And in Hollywood.
And
it's going to both coasts.
Yeah.
Both coasts. Coasts? I hate
Both
it here.
coats.
Anyway, we also got our first house announcement, and it is an IP. It's not an original concept.
Landon was right.
Landon doesn't go to Halloween Horror Nights, so
Landon was right.
He
wasn't wrong. He was just a year early.
A Fallout house. Face your fears in post-apocalyptic LA. You'll be attacked by raiders alongside Lucy. You'll confront the bounty hunter, the Ghoul. You'll even encounter Maximus with the Brotherhood of Steel. Period. Period. I'm just saying.
And based on the artwork we're seeing, this is going to be based on the series, not the game, which I guess makes sense.
I was about to point that out. Like, I've put hundreds of hours into the Fallout franchise, but this write-up name dropping Lucy, the Ghoul, Maximus, this is based on the Amazon Prime TV show Fallout, not the video games, it seems. So that and that tells me this is season 1. So what we saw in season 1, I'm led to believe you'll see in this year's house, which means we haven't been introduced to a Deathclaw yet in Fallout.
Spoiler!
Yeah, spoiler alert. Sorry, but at this point, I mean, like the season's been done for a while, and they're gearing up for season 2. I don't believe we've been introduced to a Yaogway yet, so I don't think we've been introduced to a Rad Scorpion yet. Now, maybe Universal will surprise us and break out stuff like that, because I mean, I name dropped the Deathclaw. The Deathclaw is the most iconic villain when it comes to Fallout. And that thing is straight up terrifying. And coming face to face with a Deathclaw in a vault, that has Halloween Horror Night written all over it. But if this experience is based on season 1 of the TV show, we have yet to be introduced to a Deathclaw.
So what we're saying is next year Landon will be attending Halloween Horror Nights for the season 2 house.
Stephers, really? Come on.
Do you remember that Landon said he would only maybe attend under the condition we were sponsored to go to Halloween Horror Nights?
And there were $2 million involved. It may have been billion with a B, but there was a lot of money.
But
we tried.
Well, I just thought that was interesting because last year we had a house based on video games. It was, of course, The Last of Us, but that was based on the game, not the show. So it's interesting this year, the difference. But I think you would, in The Last of Us, you have characters in the game that carry through the show that you latch onto. That's not the case with Fallout. So interesting, but makes sense that they're doing it this way. So I'm excited. I love that show.
The show's great.
Yeah, so it should be very good. I think, yes, there are going to be scary parts of the house, of course, but I think this is going to be a fun experience. It's going to be one of their more lighthearted, I think, houses, because some of what happens in that show is a little bit like ironic, sarcastic, tongue in cheek. So it'll be fun to see how that plays out in the house, I think.
Yeah, y'all will have to let me know how that goes, and be sure and get me some Fallout merch.
Yeah, it's already out. They love doing the merch drop as soon as they announce the houses. So there's Fallout merch available as we speak. But yeah, so that being the case, we've got rumors of some other things. I know we talked a little bit about it last week. I just want to throw this out for this week so we don't look like fools if it happens. This Friday is a Friday the 13th. So do we think on Friday we're going to get an announcement that there's going to be a Friday the 13th house this year?
I think we'll get an announcement. I wouldn't pigeonhole us into thinking it's a Friday the 13th house.
I mean, it would be right on the nose to do Friday the 13th. I mean, like, even I know Halloween Horror Night has gone to Camp Crystal Lake before, and I mean, like, that is my horror franchise. I love me some Jason Voorhees.
You're still not gonna go, Landon.
Absolutely not. But I can respect it from afar, Stephers. I've said this before. I love the work that they put into the houses and the lure and the production value. That said, I'm a scared chicken weenie baby who's not going to go to
chicken weenie baby.
I'm a clown.
Chicken weenie babies from Cane's.
I think those are coming back to McDonald's with the snack wraps.
I am a clowning Swiftie, and like the signs are signing. However, I know better than to get my hopes up for something and then be like, haha, joke's on you. And that's the kind of stuff the Halloween Horror Nights will do. They'll troll us and like, haha, you thought you were getting an announcement on Friday the 13th and they drop it on a random Tuesday.
Yeah. Well,
so
that's true.
Here we are.
Fingers crossed, because I would being a noob to Halloween Horror Nights, I've never gotten to experience a Friday the 13th house. I'm saying because, Stephers, you've been going for your whole life.
Okay. So wow. All right. Make me feel old, why don't you?
Compared to you, I am a noob. I think this will be, my 5th year going, I think.
I don't even know.
So, wait, that can't be right. I don't know. We'll do the math later. But
2019 or 2020?
Yeah, I didn't go in I went in 2019, but that was the fail year because that's the year we took McKenna for her 18th birthday.
Okay, 5-ish year. Mm-hmm. 5-ish years, we're going to count it.
And then I went in 21, 22, 23, and 24. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Yeah, so this would be my 5th official.
We got there, y'all. We got there. Woohoo!
Numbers are hard.
It is hard. It's very hard. All right. Well, we'll hang on for more announcements. I'm glad those are starting to kick off now. I sort of had a feeling maybe after Epic was officially opened, we'd start getting some Halloween Horror Nights info, and here we are. Oh, they are doing a premium Scream night. One of the interesting things about that is this year they're doing one premium Scream night, and costumes are allowed, which is very interesting because they didn't allow that last year.
I'm sure there are stipulations to that, though, like no fake weapons, no masks, no, like a very Disney kind of rules.
Disney, but maybe.
But like
not.
But with murder.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. So there's some rumblings, just to give you all a little teaser. There's a little bit of rumblings in the background that the private RIP tour that we did last year that we loved so much. It may be happening again.
It might be. We'll see.
It may be happening again. We have a real problem.
Oh my gosh.
But it's a great listen, if you're only going once, think about that. Yeah. Think about this. Y'all will drop some dollary dues to go and get the pass in which you can go back multiple times a season during X amount of time. Or you can spend X amount of money for one night if you're not a local, and you can go through the houses as many times as you want with no line, no wait, no mess, no fuss. I'm just saying, for someone like me who is not a local, that's a banging deal.
It's a great experience. I don't necessarily want there to be a rush on private RIP bookings because I want them to be available for us for the night we're choosing. But I'm just telling y'all, if it's something that you are capable of, or let's say Halloween Horror Nights is like a bucket list thing for you, and you've been planning, you're waiting for the right opportunity to go, sort of like Landon, like if they ever, let's say, have like another WWE house or like something that may entice him,
They have Fallout and potentially Friday the 13th, and he ain't going. Come on.
I'm just,
what if they do a Jaws house?
Or if they did a Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors, which they won't do.
Oh my God.
Like,
well,
and it's funny you mentioned WWE because that is a scuttlebutt.
Yeah, that's a rumor out there. Landon's going to be at home feeling some real FOMO this year, but
everybody knows that the Dawes is hashtag all elite. So
yeah, that's true. But anyways, I'm just saying if you can save up your money, it's such an amazing experience. But anyways, speaking of amazing experiences, I had one on Friday, and I want to talk about this. I may do like a more in-depth review and post it later because I know we're sort of like coming up on time here for today's episode. But here's what I want to say. So we've been talking about GEO-82. We did the menu review. We saw the prices. The sticker shock was real. And even more so for that fireworks experience. But on Friday, I was the beneficiary of the fact that Cocktail Bob is a reservation maniac, and it does not matter how difficult it is to reserve something. He can snatch up those reservations like you wouldn't believe. So I was lucky enough to be invited to go along with him and his wife, Christina, to experience GEO-82 for the first time on Friday. Our reservation was 6:00. Now, there's some interesting things that I feel like I want to share as part of this. The first one was, if you don't know where GEO-82 is, you wouldn't know it even really exists because it's a little bit hard to find. So you all have been in the Project Tomorrow, the exit to Spaceship Earth area. You know, the big globe that shows you your little pictures, and then those pictures like zoom in to wherever you say that you live and all that kind of stuff. So if you're facing that as you exit Spaceship Earth, over on the right, there's an exit, and over on the left, there's an exit. Well, if you go to the right, that is the side where you actually enter to GEO-82. Now, we walked up to check in, and there's a little hallway. It's clearly marked. There's a beautiful GEO-82 wall sign. It takes up the whole wall. When we walked up, there was a line to check in, and they told us at that time they were about 20 minutes behind on reservations. So we were like, okay. And he's like, he even said, the host was like, if you want to, you could go ride Spaceship Earth. By the time you're off, it'll probably be time for you to be called up to your table. And he said, or, you could go grab a little bite, grab a drink somewhere, and we'll text you when your table's ready. Just don't go far. Make sure you can he's like, don't go all the way to America. And then, try to walk back. He's like, but if you wanted to go to Mexico or something, if you were nearby, that would be okay.
What an odd statement.
I know it was.
Don't go to America.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's great advice. If you're not in America, don't go to America.
Don't come.
We got some stuff going on right now.
It's a little iffy over here. But anyways, so I asked him because, let's say you're at the Polynesian, you get on the list to go to Trader Sam's. They get your cell phone number and you get a confirmation that says you're on the list. You'll get a text message when your table's ready. When you get that text message, you've got 15 minutes, I think, 10 to 15 minutes to check in. Otherwise, they release your table. If you're not back by that time, they release your table. So I asked him, I said, so let's say we go do something. We get the text, our table's ready. How long do we have to get back? And he goes, oh, you've probably got a while. He's like, it'll be fine. And I was like, so that was my first little interesting bit of information. Because I was like, now, I know this place is in high demand. I know the reservations are booked up for the foreseeable future. It's interesting that they're being loosey-goosey, like, hey, your table's ready. Come back whenever you feel like it. But I know it's not that loose, but the fact that
and they're already running 20 minutes behind, too.
Yeah, the fact that he's like, you'll be fine. Just come on back whenever you get the text. I was like, okay. So we didn't go far. We hung out in the exit area of Spaceship Earth, and we got the text message. We go to check in. And really, every step of the way, you sort of have a guide. So you check in with the host, and then you have someone that kind of walks up the stairs with you. There's a desk upstairs that you check into. When you get to the top of the spiral stairs, which I felt like kind of mirrors your return to Earth. When you're on Spaceship Earth, you've got that backwards sort of spiral back down to Earth. So the stairs up to the lounge, sort of a similar thing. You get a towel that has essential oils on it. You can wipe your face, wipe your hands with this nice, clean, cold towel. That was nice. And already I'm getting the feeling this is an upscale experience, which that's what they want you to feel like at this place. So we get checked in. There is a lounge, like a waiting area upstairs, which was not offered to us when we checked in. And I'm guessing it's just because it was full. Because really that whole area was, because I actually said when we were in the Project Tomorrow area, I was like, it's going to be strange that now this area is going to start being filled up with people waiting to get to the lounge. And so when you're getting off Spaceship Earth, you're going to see just a bunch of adults milling around. Like in that area, probably like playing the interactive games and stuff, because what else are you going to do while you wait for your table? But there is a lounge upstairs. So we had someone walk with us down like the hallway that goes into the lounge area, and they pointed out every step of the way, they're pointing out the details, the homages to the ride, the history, the homages to Epcot. Like, it's so nice.
Oh, that's cool.
If you're a fan of old school Epcot, then you're like me and you used to love the fiber optics in the ground outside of Spaceship Earth. They actually have the fiber optics in the ground as you're walking like down the hallway to the lounge, which is really, really cool. Like the colors, the textures, like everything is really, really nice. I would say too, all the details of the furniture, the tables, like it feels like you're in a fancy dining experience the whole way. Nothing about it feels cheap. So we sit down, we got to, our server, her name was Carissa, was wonderful. She was very helpful, explained everything, very patient. I would tell you there is no feeling of being rushed in that place. It's very relaxed. The fact that there's no kids up there means it's also kind of a muted, calm, relaxing situation. The view is nice. You can see World Celebration Garden, but I was questioning, what is it going to be like when, for people watching fireworks? And we talked about this before. Like, is it going to be a prime viewing experience for people watching fireworks? I didn't think I would be able to speak to that, but ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, we did get to watch the fireworks because they did not kick us out of the lounge ever. Basically we were in a prime booth that was facing out over World Celebration Garden. And as we started getting closer to the time where people who had paid for the fireworks experience were going to check in, we had a manager walk over to us, and I was sure we were getting kicked out. But he was like, so I just wanted to let you know we are getting ready to set up for our fireworks experience. Would it be okay if I just move you to another table? And so to Christina's credit, she started playing the angle of like, what's in it for us to move? Like, we're here. So anyway, he was super nice about it. Very I actually told Carissa because she had to come find us at our new table. And I said to her, I was like, it was the most friendly eviction I've ever experienced. But they moved us to another table, and we got to, we were ordering drinks, we're ordering food, and they let us hang out. So we stayed, and we watched the fireworks from there. I did ask them about, for the fireworks experience, we had seen that you get this sort of, it's like a Savory Bites tower. Really, what they present you on your table, that's essentially what you get. It's not, quote unquote, all you care to enjoy. Although our server did tell us, if there's some extras in the kitchen, like they made more deviled eggs or they made more of the macaroons and there's something that you want, you could probably get a few more of those things, but it's not like they just keep bringing you food. I saw there was a table of 2 people and they just got 1 tower. I saw there was a table of 3 people. They got 2. So I don't know if it's like each tower is meant for 2 people. So if you have more than that, like that's how many little food towers you would get. But I think that's probably what it is. They also pour champagne, and I think that was sort of like bottomless as long as you want to keep having champagne. And then they time it out so they bring you your plate of desserts right before the fireworks. As a person who did not pay for the fireworks experience but was still in the lounge and had a relatively similar view to what the people who did, I could just tell you, I don't know why necessarily you would pay for the fireworks experience. Personally, I mean, we kind of had said this before, like it seemed that's a $200, like it's, what is it? 180 pre-tax and pre-gratuity.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'm just not sure unless that was the only way you could guarantee you're going to get to go into GEO-82 and you really want to do it. Just get a reservation closer to the fireworks time and hang out. As the night went on, the bar area totally emptied out. I didn't really see a lot of turnover at the tables. that we were sitting at. So people that were there, like there were people that were sitting in the lounge before we got there, and they stayed as long as we did.
Wow.
Now I think, we got a question in the Facebook groups, and the question was, when do you think they might open up the lounge to walk-ups? My personal feeling is they're not doing it right now because I feel like they don't. If they were to open up to walk-ups at this point, especially, the only way they could really manage that would be if they were putting people on a time limit. Because if you could just go up, get a table, and stay there for as long as you wanted, how are you going to do reservations? And I think probably they're limiting reservations so that they don't have to rush people, more than likely. So it'll be interesting to see how that changes. I know that it will eventually, down the road. But for now, I at least in this opening period, I don't think that that's going to change. I think it's going to be reservation only, no walk-ups. But in comparing the experience to like Oga's, where it's a 45-minute time limit, you don't get that at all here. Also, I will say we tried a lot of between the three of us, we tried a lot of the specialty cocktail menu. And I would say a standout for me was the brulee banana highball. So freaking good. It was like something it was just a unique taste, and it was like it was refreshing. It had like flavors that were interesting, and it was just really, it was very good. I highly recommend if you're into, it's a whiskey drink. It actually uses Toki whiskey. And it has flavors of coffee and banana and some sweetness to it. And it has bubbles. They actually have a machine that will it carbonates the drink. So it's not soda or champagne. They actually carbonate the drinks right there. It was good. I also got, it was like I got the Electron. The Electron was really good. But I would say one of the things that blew me away was the mushroom flatbread. So good. So good. And we tried the cheese and meat board as well. It was good, but we ended up ordering another flatbread because all of us loved it. So yeah. So food is good. Drinks are good. You can order, you don't have to order specialty cocktails. They have a full bar. The prices are different. You can actually probably save a little money if you go say you just wanted something like a gin and tonic or something. You can totally do that. And you get to pick your liquor, and you can probably save some money as compared to the specialty cocktails. But look, I get this is an expensive place to go, but I'm just going to say with the service, the environment, the view, all the details, I think that it's all three of us said you can't get the experience we had there. You can't get that experience anywhere else in the Walt Disney World theme parks. And to me, that makes it sort of worth an upcharge, if that makes sense. So, loved it. If you want to see, I posted a video of some of the clips and some of the pictures on my TikTok. I put it on our Instagram, Morning Monorail. So check out Justin_Monorail on TikTok or Morning Monorail on Instagram. I also put it in the Facebook group so you could see it. But I've got more pictures. I have I got a lot of thoughts, but anyway, I said a lot of stuff. I know I said I wasn't going to go deep, but I did. What based on what I'm saying, what are you guys thinking about it? Landon, I know you'd said that previously you want to do this, but I know you were kind of skeptical based on price and stuff. But after that review, how are you feeling about it?
I mean, this is still an experience that I'm definitely going to check out. Maybe, after your less than stellar review of the dining experience for the fireworks, I am even less likely to throw down the $180 pre-tax, pre-gratuity for that. But I am looking forward to trying out GEO-82 for myself in the future. You mentioned the stuff that you liked, the mushroom flatbread, the brulee banana highball. Was there stuff that you tried that you would not recommend? Because again, when we talked about the menu, my biggest takeaway was the price points for some of these drinks and food items. But then my other takeaway was they're really swinging for the fences on some of these items that they're selling. They're very unique, let's just say. Mm-hmm. Is there something that you tried and it's a one and done situation?
Well, I will say Cocktail Bob, and he and I both enjoy an old fashioned. He tried the brown butter old fashioned, and he said that's not something he would get again. It was just fine. It didn't really stand out to him in any sort of a way. Look, I may not go back to this place in a long time. So yes, I tried 4 of the cocktails. Because I felt like I needed to get an experience and be able to talk about it on the podcast. But of the 4 drinks I tried, now that it's on the table, I'll just tell you. I got the caramelized leek martini. I got the peach shrub whiskey smash. I got the Electron, and I got the brulee banana highball. I love a gin martini. I don't think that I would get the caramelized leek martini again. So those two, like it's almost like an old fashioned is a standard cocktail you could get at any bar. A martini is a standard cocktail you could get at any bar. Why get those when you are at a place like this? Like, go for something unique and different, which is that's maybe the broad advice I would give you about the cocktail menu.
Okay.
If it seems familiar, if it seems familiar, then don't try it. Like, try something else. Unless you're a person who's like, I only like old fashions, so that's what I'm going to have. That's what I would say. Stephers, there are drinks with Campari, so if you go there, watch out.
Listen here, I've learned my lesson, but I'm still going to go because I love me a Spaceship Earth vibe. So, period.
And it seems like they really pulled that part of it off, that part of the experience.
It feels like it is a beautiful tribute to the attraction, and sort of like Epcot in general. It feels like it really does the job in a way that Disney did not manage to do for the 50th anniversary in like tipping a cap to the history of the Magic Kingdom. This feels like a real tribute to a beloved attraction and park icon for sure. I think that's true. So yeah, give it a try, everybody. Let me know. I mean, I know it's hard to get in there right now. I would say I really did like the peach shrub whiskey smash. That's also a Toki whiskey drink. It has sherry, peach, and mint shrub and bubbles. That was good too. But between the 2 Toki drinks, that brulee banana highball was, whew, I'm going to be dreaming about that drink. It was so good. I love a Toki highball anyway. This is like, I'm never going to have one as good as that. It was great. I think Bob really liked the Batanga. He had the highbrow Batanga because I think he ended up ordering another one.
I loved her on Boy Meets World.
Yeah, I made that joke.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
She was very important to me growing up. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I think I said something like Batanga was my favorite character in Boy Meets World or something like that. Yeah. So Bob, in the Monday Morning Monorail fam Facebook group, Bob actually posted a pretty thorough review, and he gave the highbrow Batanga an 8 out of 10. Our combined, because Christina also got the Electron, our combined score was a 6 out of 10. I think she gave it a 4. She didn't like I liked the Electron. She didn't like it. They gave the strawberry and coconut right hand a 9 out of 10. So actually, I guess that was their favorite.
Wow.
And then the fungi flatbread was 9 out of 10.
Yeah, y'all said you ordered, 2 of those? You enjoyed it so much?
Yeah, we got 2 flatbreads. We were kind of fighting over it. Yeah, it was good. And really, one of the bonuses was this weekend we knew they weren't selling the glassware, but on the way out, sort of as a thank you for visiting GEO-82 on opening weekend, they gave us a little gift, and each one of us got one of the rocks glasses with the GEO-82 inscribed on it for free. Well,
that's pretty awesome.
For, quote unquote
free. Yeah.
For free. But it was
after
nice.
Your 4 cocktail ticket, right? Yeah.
And I will say, okay, in complete transparency, my 4 drinks and I paid for one of the flatbreads. It was $123. So I kind of splurged, but we were there for 3.5 hours.
Okay, all right.
We became friends with Carissa. She knew us pretty well. Yeah, but she was great. I gave her a cast compliment. She was really good. So
well, it sounds like you had a great time in your first experience of GEO-82, and I look forward to my first experience of GEO-82.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to. I definitely would love to go if we can manage to go together. I would love to do that. We need a bad boys trip to GEO-82. That's what we need.
Sign me up.
Yeah. And Stephers is paying for it. So that's great.
Perfect. Yep. In that case, I want two tickets to the fireworks.
I gotta go. If y'all don't hear me next week, it's because
We never see Stephers again.
Yeah, she left us on red in the group chat.
Yeah, oops.
All right. Well, I think we have done the deed and created an episode today. So why don't we wrap it up? And Stephers, since this is your last time appearing on the show, do you have anything you'd like to plug on your way out?
Adventures with Stephers on all the things. Twitch, and I'll get there eventually, and Instagram, and yeah, that's about it right now. Stephers is Steffersing, and well, if you really need me, you can call me or text me because you know.
It's true. Do your thing, Stephers.
Yep.
Landon, how about you, sir?
THEDOZ, Landon on Blue Ski, Landon Doane. I'm the best, Landon Doane, not the rest. That's where you can find me on my fun little slice of the internet. The world's terrible right now, and over there on Blue Sky, I talk about fun stuff like sports and professional wrestling and comic books and movies and stuff like that. We try to make it a little bit less terrible, so come follow me on Blue Sky, and we'll have some fun together. I also appear on the Phil Show on News Talk 98.7 WOKI radio station locally here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Streaming 6 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and at newstalk987.com. Also available in the iHeartRadio app and the News Talk 987 app as well. That is Monday through Friday, 6 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're here in East Tennessee, you can listen to me and Phil Williams on your way to work and stuff like that. I convinced somebody to give me a paycheck to do this. I'm still not sure how I pulled that one off, but until they realize their mistake, I will continue to do that. But breathe. Have a little bit of fun. And if you could do both of those things, that would mean the world to me. And today is June 9th. Happy birthday, Donald Duck. And in honor of the birthday boy, I am not wearing pants. So on that note, I bid you adieu. I'll talk to y'all next week. Love you, mean it. See ya.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Well, friends, thank you once again for joining us. Appreciate all of you for being part of the Monday Morning Monorail family. We will be back again next week with another episode of the Monday Morning Monorail. Until then, make sure that you are engaging with us on all the things. We're at Morning Monorail pretty much everywhere. You can visit dismornings.com. And don't forget, there is a form on dismornings.com that you can fill out if you're interested in traveling to the parks and you want a travel agent to help you, to give you the peace of mind so you don't have to worry about all the details and making sure you get the best price. You can fill out that form, and either Stephers or our buddy Nate will be able to help you book your next vacation to Walt Disney World and beyond. So make sure that you do that. That was sort of like a Buzz Lightyear thing, but not really.
Oh, okay. All right. I see what you're going for.
You tried. It's fine.
I did. And we're going to try again next week. But until then, thank a team member, thank a cast member, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
The Monday Morning Monorail podcast is part of the Diz Mornings Network. Visit dismornings.com for Walt Disney World news, rumors, trip planning advice, and our blog. You can also visit our merch shop and look good when you're traveling to the parks. Don't forget, if you're looking to book a vacation, you can fill out a form on the dismornings.com website, and Nate or Stephers will reach out and help you get a great deal and take the stress away from booking your next trip to Walt Disney World, Universal, or beyond. Again, visit dismornings.com for all your Monday Morning Monorail and Diz Mornings needs.